So let's move ahead with our third unit. The first topic what we'll be covering in the third unit, that is soil compaction. And in the second part of this third unit, we'll be trying to talk about consolidation. Okay. So what basically is mean by compaction? What is basically mean by consolidation? What is the difference between those two different processes? All that we will try to talk in detail in this particular unit. What is meant by soil compaction? And what is the purpose of carrying out this soil compaction? And by carrying out that soil compaction, what is that we are going to achieve? Okay. So in the case, if soil is compacted, if soil is not compacted, what difference it makes in terms of various aspects like strength aspect, serviceability aspect, and so on. So what would happen in that particular soil? Okay. So first, what is meant by compaction? Compaction is nothing but it's the process of reducing the volume of voids. In the other way, I should write it. It's not simply volume of voids in total. Okay. So volume of voids here refers to volume of air and volume of water. Now, when I say reduction in volume of voids, does it reflect the volume of air reduction or volume of water reduction? So in the process of compaction, whenever you say it is the process by which you are reducing the volume of voids, it means that we are trying to reduce the volume occupied by air in that particular void spaces. So the volume of air is what we are in turn trying to reduce by applying some external loading on that particular soil strata. So always it need not be because of the external loading what is acting on the soil strata your compaction is taking place. Even because of the self weight of the soil itself. Okay, I repeat, even due to the self weight of the soil itself, your so-called compaction could happen in that particular soil strata. So let us go ahead in detail and understand point by point what does this compaction mean and how do we carry out the compaction, and how one can say the soil is properly compacted based on the results what we obtained from your lab tests. And what are the different methods by which we carry out the compaction in the lab? We'll try to talk about what are the different methods by which we carry out your compaction in the field, and in the field also depending on the type of soil, what type of compaction is required to be carried out. All that we'll try to talk about. Right. So coming to the introduction part of what does this soil compaction mean? So first let us try to understand some history why this compaction is required, and then we'll move ahead and to know like what exactly we are doing in this process of compaction and how do we do the compaction. In the construction of highway embankments, or maybe in the construction of your earth dams, or maybe in any other engineering structures where you encounter the loose soil deposits. Why this loose soil deposits word is very important for us to know in the places where I require to talk about compaction. Because in the case, if your soil is loose, what happens? The relative size of the voids in that particular soil is big. If the size of the void is more, then the permeability of that soil is going to be more. And if that particular soil, loose soil as it is, if you are trying to keep in the form of a loose condition for the construction of the earthen dam, or maybe in the construction of your embankment, then the purpose of constructing the embankment or for the purpose of construction of your earthen dam is completely lost, because the loose soil will not have much higher factor of safety when you are constructing your embankment. Because if your embankment is constructed with that particular soil in a loose state, you always have the possibility that your failure could happen in that particular embankment along some weakest plane, and you will not see the soil getting retained there. Soil completely get slided away and results into the failure of the embankment. So what you require is, when you are constructing an embankment, we have to compact the soil more and more, so that the strength of the soil what you are going to have there from higher compaction, the strength is also going to be relatively high. Okay, and once the strength is high, automatically the stability of the embankment is going to be relatively high. So in the construction of an earthen dam, if you are trying to use this loose soil as it is in a loose state, so what would happen is the size of the interconnected void path is going to be large, and your water will not get retained on your upstream. Rather easily it flows from upstream onto your downstream. So in all such cases, and even in the case when let's say for example I want to construct a building and on this ground, and this particular ground is relatively containing a loose soil deposit or a soft soil deposit, On this soil, if I want to construct a building, this soil is not going to be capable of holding more and more loads onto it. And if at all it takes more and more load, but you will see more amount of settlement happening in that particular loose soil deposit because of the load what is getting applied onto it. So when more settlement is happening, or when load carrying capacity of the soil is less, either of the cases, we say that particular soil is not very much suitable for our construction. Okay, so in order to ensure a proper strength obtained for that particular soil, or future settlements if you don't want to have in that particular soil, okay, so you have to properly compact that particular soil before you start talking about any kind of construction in that particular soil. See, even in the case of construction of your roads or any pavements, if you look at, what do? We first initially compact the ground properly. If the ground is not properly compacted, what happens? Whatever the soil grains which you are going to be placing in the form of one layer, second layer, third layer, what would happen there is, these top soil grains will move into the bottom soil grains. From here it moves into this, from here it moves into the soil which is relatively soft in the subsurface. Okay, so if these coarse particles are moving into your soil, then where is your road? Road is not going to be flat, rather you will have undulations formed in your road pavement, and results into the failure of your road, whatever you are trying to design there or what you are trying to construct there. So to avoid all that particular issues, you are required to have a proper compaction done for that particular soil. And after carrying out a proper compaction, that means compaction is nothing but attaining what is called as the dense packing of your solid particles in the soil mass by reducing the volume of voids. When I say reducing the volume of voids, what exactly we are reducing there means volume occupied by air is what we are trying to remove as much as possible because of an external load what we are trying to apply. To compact a soil, that is to place it in a, it's nothing but compacting a soil is nothing but placing that particular soil in what is called as a dense state. The dense state is achieved through the process of reduction of the air voids that are existing in the soil with little or no reduction in the water content. So in the process of compaction, what we are exactly trying to do there is, we are trying to reduce the volume of air voids. But sir, when you are trying to apply some loading on the soil, how can we ensure that only gets air comes out of that particular void space? Why not the water particle starts coming out of your void space? Okay, so in the process of compaction, once we are trying to talk about, compaction is done over a shorter period of time. Over a shorter period of time in the sense, maybe for a couple of days or couple of hours, or maybe for 10 days, 15 days or 20 days or so on. So in all different varieties of soils, you more typically in the case of fine grained soils, in order to have the water particle to come out of the void space, that duration of applying the external loading is not just sufficient enough. You need to apply the external loading on the soil strata to ensure that water particle which is present in the void space will come out of that particular soil only by applying that loading over a very long period of time. Okay, that could be over months or years. So depending on the type of soil in which you are trying to take up that particular compaction process. Okay, so that's the reason why, as the process of compaction is taken up over a shorter period of time, so we simply say that your reduction in volume of soil is due to the reduction in volume of voids, that is particularly due to the reduction in volume of your air void space, not due to the reduction of your void corresponding to the water. This process must not be confused with consolidation. Okay, so these two terms, compaction, consolidation, very oftenly will be coming across, but both are not exactly same. So compaction is nothing but it's the process in which we are trying to reduce the volume of air voids present in that particular soil, and whereas your consolidation is nothing but it's the process in which we are trying to decrease the volume of water which is present in that particular soil. Okay, so initially when you are applying the loading, so in the initial period of that loading, whatever the air that is entrapped in the void spaces comes out, and if the same load is applied over a very long period of time, so as the air which is present in the void space has completely come out, then whatever the water which is present in that particular void space has to slightly come out of that particular soil. Say, I'll just give you an example. Let me take a sponge, partially saturated. The sponge, whatever you have, is partially saturated, in the sense all the voids in the sponge are not completely filled by water. Maybe some portion of the void space are only filled by water. Now take that sponge and start applying some force on that sponge. A duster if I am taking, and if I start applying that loading on that sponge or on the duster, what do I see? Sponge starts getting compressed. Okay, I repeat, sponge starts getting compressed. Why is it getting compressed? Because of the external force what you are applying. Whatever the void space which were occupied by air earlier are now the volume of those air voids are getting decreased because of the external loading what you have applied. Now, is that water particle not coming out? No. Initially, all the air which is entrapped in the void space has to first come out, because the density of air is relatively less. It easily comes out of that void space. And once the air which is present inside the void space is coming out, then due to the load what you are continuously applying on that sponge, over a period of time, you see that your water particle slowly starts coming out of that particular material. It could be your sponge, it could be your soil, or it could be anything else. Okay, so that's the reason why we particularly say that first, whenever some loading is applied, the process what is happening in the soil due to the applied loading is nothing but we call it as compaction. Now, why do we call it as compaction, or why not that consolidation? Means compaction is nothing but it's the process in which we are trying to decrease the volume occupied by air in the void space. And upon the completion of this compaction process, then if that particular same load is applied over a longer period of time, and there is a possibility that due to that applied continuous loading, or due to heavy loads which are applied on that particular ground over time, then you will see the possibility of water particles easily getting dissipated out of those void spaces, or coming out of that particular void spaces existing in the soil. So the process of removal of water from the void spaces is what is called as consolidation, and the process of removing the air from the void space is what we call it as your compaction. So in the first couple of lectures, next 2-3 lectures, we'll be trying to talk about what is compaction, and then after, in the next 5-6 lectures after that, we'll try to talk about what is called as your consolidation. So what is that we are going to achieve from this compaction of the soil? What is our objective of for carrying out your compaction? So why do we carry out the compaction? Means by carrying out the compaction, we are trying to increase the strength characteristics of that particular soil. When I say strength characteristics, what does the strength characteristics mean? It's the bearing capacity of the soil. It is the stability of that particular soil. So all that can be increased, and in the process, the settlements what are expected to happen in that particular soil in the later future point of time. Let's say, for example, I place some soil, and on that particular soil strata, after 2 years, I want to construct a building. Now, right after the construction of the building, is it good to have the settlements in the building? Or before the construction of the building itself, is it good to have the settlements in that particular soil? Okay, so after the construction of the building, if the settlements are more, then the purpose for which you have constructed the building is not of any use. Let's say, for example, I have a cellar which is used for parking there, and if the settlement of the building is so much high, if the cellar is completely sinking into the ground, then what would happen? You don't see any more cellar remaining. So the purpose of designing the cellar is lost there. So you don't want any higher settlements to happen in the soil during the construction or after the construction of the structure. So when do you want to have, or when do you want to finish that settlements in that soil, whatever are expected to happen, means it is before taking up any kind of construction. So whatever that so-called process of compaction, why we are trying to do, means we are trying to do it to densify the soil. Once we try to densify the soil by applying the external loading, automatically the strength of that particular soil is going to increase, and the so-called future settlements, whatever are expected to happen, are going to be minimized. Okay, so compaction increases the strength, and compaction will also decrease the amount of undesirable settlement, the settlement which you don't want it to have after the construction of the structure. So those settlements, I can try to minimize it now. Or let's say, for example, if I am trying to construct any pavement, okay, so before the construction of the pavement itself, you try to, this is the subgrade, That's nothing but this is the soil strata, we call it. Okay, you try to roll a roller on that particular soil strata so that the soil what is available there becomes relatively hard. Then whatever the different layers of aggregate that you are going to be placing, let's say this is your sub-base course, base course, and a surface course. Okay, so once I place your sub-base material and once I try to compact it, this sub-base material also becomes hard, and next you will be placing your base course, and base course material is also going to be compacted, and then you will be placing your surface material, your bitumen or whatever you are going to be compacted, so that whatever the load that is getting applied on this surface course can easily get distributed onto this base course. From this base course, without having any undulations in the ground profile, you can have the load easily getting distributed onto your sub-base course, and from the sub-base, the load can be easily distributed onto what is called as your subgrade. That's nothing but your soil strata. So in order to have a safe load distribution happening from one layer to the other layer, so you have to ensure that each of the layer what is provided in the construction of the pavement are to be properly compacted, so that the strength what you are going to attain for each of the layer is going to be relatively high. And once the strength of each of the layer is relatively high, then load whatever you are trying to apply in the form of any external load like vehicle load or whatever, so all those loads can be safely taken by your each of that layer of the aggregate materials which are placed there. Yeah, you can just look at some of those cases. Okay, this image talks about improper compaction. Okay, I have some soil in which proper compaction, if it is not done, then what would happen over time is, because of the load coming from this truck, so you will have the settlements taking place in the soil which is not properly compacted here, so which would result in undulations in the ground surface, so which will not be giving you an easy condition for vehicle movement. So if it is properly compacted, then you can have your vehicles easily passing through that particular road surface. And sometimes what happens is, when you wanted to construct any pipelines underground, or when you want to lay down any pipelines underground, or when you want to construct some canals underground, so what we do is we excavate the soil, we lay down those pipelines, and on top of it, we simply refill that particular region with the soil again. Whatever you have excavated, that portion of the soil, you will try to refill it. In the process, if you are trying to refill it, what you are going to be seeing is the ground is not going to be horizontal over a certain period of time. Rather, you are going to see, if this is my ground after refilling, then over a period of time, you see the ground to be having some undulation like this. This is the most common issue what we are going to see wherever people try to dig the roads and lay the pipes according to their wish. Okay, because the soil which is being refilled here is not properly compacted. As it is not properly compacted, then later on, whenever there is some external load what is coming onto this particular soil, compaction is going to take place. And once the compaction takes place later stage, then your ground is no more going to be horizontal or flat. You are going to see some undulated profile like this. So if this is properly compacted, if this region of the soil, if it is properly compacted, then the road, whatever is constructed above that, is going to be strong, and you will not see any undulations in the road profile there. So the purpose of compacting the soil is to achieve higher shear strength for that particular soil. Once I say shear strength of the soil is increasing, automatically the bearing capacity of the soil is increasing, the stability of slopes, if you are talking about any slope embankments, so automatically the stability of those slopes increases. And if I'm trying to talk about the problems of any pavement, so automatically the stability of that particular pavement or the bearing capacity of the pavement surface also increases. And sometimes, because of the compaction what you are trying to take up, yes, shear strength is increasing. Undesirable settlements, whatever are expected to happen in the future, are decreasing. There is another thing what is also going to be happening, because once you start removing the volume of air voids, then what would happen to the permeability of the soil? Permeability of the soil decreases. Sir, is it good to have the permeability of the soil to be low for a given soil or high for a given soil? So we cannot make a common statement that the permeability of the soil has to be high or the permeability of the soil has to be low. It depends on the condition where you are looking at. In some case, if you want to increase your or recharge your groundwater, immediately after the rainfall, water is getting accumulated on the ground. If you want to allow that water to easily get drained into the bottom layers of the soil strata to recharge your groundwater table, so there the permeability of the soil layer should be high. Okay, and in some cases where you don't want that so-called permeability or seepage to be happening, let's say in your municipal solid waste deposited regions, contaminated regions. Okay, so what we do, if this is my ground, we keep on depositing your municipal waste materials. So in the process, when there is a rainfall, the water gets mixed with the hazardous gases or materials which are present in the deposited waste. Okay, so once the water interacts with the gas, then if those water is trying to percolate through the void spaces, then groundwater here or the soil here gets contaminated, and it results into various problems that we are going to encounter. Okay, so in such case, you don't want the water to percolate through the interconnected void path. There, the permeability of the soil, you wanted it to be relatively very less. Okay, so depending on the situation or the problem that you are dealing with, you have to search for the case, okay, whether to have a higher permeability here or a lower permeability here. Okay, but however, from carrying out what is called as compaction, we are going to reduce the permeability. The permeability of the soil is going to get reduced. Now, the advantage of having this reduction in the permeability of the soil, and more particularly in the case of your black cotton soil particularly, which is expected to have what is called as shrinkage and swelling. So the swelling and shrinkage characteristics of the soil can be minimized by carrying out proper compaction, because once you have a proper compaction done, the permeability of the soil decreases. Once the permeability of soil decreases, then the capability of absorbing the water by that particular soil decreases, and once the capability of absorbing the water by that particular soil decreases, then the nature of swelling or nature of shrinkage or the quantum of swelling and quantum of shrinkage will certainly decrease. Okay, so you have to clearly know what is the advantage with that particular compaction. And by carrying out the compaction, we are going to reduce the compressibility. Compressibility in the sense, the so-called settlements, whatever are expected to happen in the soil in later stage, okay, those all can be minimized. And yeah, by carrying out a proper compaction, I said you can control the swelling and shrinkage characteristics of that particular soil. And with the proper compaction, you can try to reduce the liquefaction potential value. Okay, so if the liquefaction potential, what does this liquefaction potential mean? So it is nothing but it is the tendency of the soil to have the nature of getting liquefied. Okay, soil, when does it get liquefied? Whenever the water is not allowed to get easily dissipated out of the soil. Water particles are there inside the void spaces, and if the water is not allowed to easily get dissipated, you will have all issues of what is called as your excess pore water pressure. If excess pore water pressure is built up, the effective strength decreases, and at any point of time, if your total stress and pore water pressures are getting equal, then the effective stress developed in the soil becomes zero, and we say that your soil is more or less in a state of what is called as liquid material. Okay, so the tendency of a soil to undergo or to get transformed into what is called as a liquid material, so that phenomena or that potential which defines the characteristics of that liquefaction aspect, we call it as your liquefaction potential. So by carrying out a proper compaction, this liquefaction potential of that particular soil can be reduced. If the liquefaction potential value is reduced, then automatically the soil tendency of having the liquefaction in that particular soil comes down. So what exactly this compaction is all about? Already we have talked about, but let us try to understand once again in the form of definition. Compaction in general is nothing but it is the process of densification of soil. How are we trying to densify the soil? By removal of air which is present in the void spaces. So which requires some mechanical energy. Mechanical energy in the sense, some external loading is what we are trying to apply on that particular soil or on that particular ground, by which we are trying to remove the air which is present in the void spaces. Simplistically, a compaction may be defined as a process in which soil particles are forced closer together with the resultant reduction in air voids. So you are trying to relatively force the solid particles to move relatively closer to each other. You are trying to push those solid particles closer to each other in the process of decreasing the volume of air voids there. Yeah, initially, let's say this is the condition of the soil grain arrangement before compaction, and this is the condition of the soil grain arrangement after compaction. What do we understand from these two images? It indicates that your void size, which was relatively large before compaction, is now getting decreased. The same is the case with this two also. So in the process of compaction, what is happening to your soil? This, if I am looking at the soil, this is the soil in the loose state, let's say. This is a loose soil, and after compaction, this is my dense soil, or I can also call it as your compacted soil. So just carrying out the compaction doesn't mean that the soil is going to be dense, okay? But relatively, it is attaining what is called as a state of dense nature when compared to that of the initial condition. Okay, so this loose soil in its three-phase diagram, if I am trying to represent, so this indicates you what is called as your volume of air, this indicates you what is called as your volume of water, okay, and this indicates you what is called as your volume of solids. So in the process of compaction, while carrying out the compaction, what is going to happen? The volume of solids, as the solids are considered to be incompressible in nature, solid particle volume will never change, okay. Volume of water is also not getting changed while carrying out what is called as your compaction, because the process of compaction is all about reducing the volume occupied by air only. So what we are trying to do by carrying out the process of compaction is we are trying to decrease the volume occupied by air. Okay, so if you want to compare, you can just try to understand that volume of water before compaction, after compaction is same. Volume of solids before compaction, after compaction is same. Relatively, what is happening is before compaction, volume occupied by air is more, and after compaction, the volume occupied by air is relatively less. Sir, you said from the process of compaction, we are going to remove the air voids from the soil. Then why are we still representing this volume of air even after the process of compaction? Say, when you are applying some loading on that particular soil, it doesn't mean all the voids which are filled by air will be completely removed. Same example of sponge. If you apply small intensity of load, only small amount of compression takes place. If you apply some more load, some more compression takes place. If you apply some more load, some more compression takes place. What does it indicate? Initially, when I applied some load, is it that compaction is not happening? Yes, compaction is happening, but only due to that intensity of load what is applied. Is it that air is not getting removed? Yes, it is getting removed, but only because of the intensity of load what is applied, certain amount of air voids are only getting removed. It's not complete volume of air voids are not getting removed because of certain amount of load what you have applied. So if I keep on increasing the load, some more volume of air gets removed. If I increase some more load, some more volume of air gets removed. So that's what you have to understand. So whenever we say compaction of a particular soil is completed, it doesn't mean all the air voids existing in that soil are completely removed. Please do understand that. Even whenever somebody says the consolidation process is complete, it doesn't mean all the water particles existing in the void space are completely removed. Only due to that applied loading, whatever amount of air that is to be removed only will gets removed. That is what I am calling it as compaction. Only due to that applied load, whatever amount of water that was supposed to be coming out over a longer period of time, that only comes out. That is what I am calling it as your consolidation. So amount of your compaction effort that you are putting in, amount of energy that you are trying to apply would certainly impact the quantity of decrease in terms of your volume of air. More the amount of energy that you apply, more amount of decrease in volume of air takes place. That's what it is. So the degree of compaction, what you are going to be achieving in that particular soil is basically measured by the dry unit weight of that particular soil skeleton structure. So if I want to understand whether that particular soil has attained more strength or not from compaction, whether the strength of the soil is increasing or not, how much it has increased, all that I'll try to understand based on a parameter of the soil, which is nothing but it is the dry unit weight of the soil. Sir, why do we measure the degree of compaction or the amount of compaction that is achieved in that particular soil? Why do we determine on the basis of dry unit weight? Why not on the basis of your bulk unit weight or partially saturated unit weight? Because if water particles are getting occupied into the void space, that weight of water is also reflecting the load carrying capacity of that particular soil. Okay, so that's the reason why we simply understand the amount of compaction that is achieved by that particular soil in terms of its dry unit weight. Now, how do we calculate the dry unit weight? Okay, we have these mathematical relations which we have already seen in our first unit. Okay, so depending on the void ratio of the soil, in a loose state, automatically we understand that the void ratio of the soil is high. If the void ratio of the soil is high, then the dry density of that particular soil or the dry unit weight of that soil is going to be low. If the void ratio of the soil is less, then automatically the dry unit weight of that particular soil is going to be more. So your gamma D is inversely proportional to your void ratio. So higher the void ratio, lower is your dry density. If lower is the dry density, then the strength of the soil is also going to be lower. So if lower is the void ratio, when do I say the void ratio of the soil is low? Whenever your particles are very closely packed to each other. So then I can say your density of the soil is, a void ratio of the soil is less. If the void ratio of the soil is less, then automatically the dry density or the strength of that particular soil is going to be more. Okay, so we'll stop our discussion for today here and we'll start continuing our discussion in the next class.